probably a quarter of the way through the season now. This is a point where managers say, okay, we can judge what's happened in the first quarter. So is 12th place, which is now where you are, a fair reflection?
Yeah, I think it is from how the season's gone. You know, if we'd have had a better start, then obviously we'd have been slightly higher. But I was saying during our poor run that I felt the stats were showing us, and our eyes were showing us, that we were actually better than a team that was languishing near the bottom of the table. And that's sort of been proven a little bit now over the last 5 or 6 games where, you know, we've had some good results, a good run of form, and got ourselves within a shout of the playoff positions now. You know, what are we, 3 points away or 4 points away or something? So, as I've always said, you need to be challenging up there somewhere around the playoffs, certainly within touching distance, so that you can take the next part of the season with the confidence that another run of wins, you can get yourself right in there. And that's, you know, you've got to try and keep your run going for as long as possible. And we've started it now. Was that 3 wins on the trot? That's a run. And now we need to keep doing as much as we can. But I still say that teams are pretty much of a muchness. You know, people are looking at Port Vale, and I said this about other teams that are down there, that they're not going to end up on 5 points, 8 points, whatever it is they got. You know, they're all going to be picking up points. They're all going to get 40, even the ones that get relegated. So they've got to get them somewhere. So we've got to be careful that we don't just feel that we've just got to turn up. We haven't. We've got to work as hard as we're working. We've got to show the ability we're showing. We've got to score the goals that we're doing. We've got to not make mistakes at the back, which is what we're not making mistakes at the back. Our goalkeeper's solid. Yeah, touch wood, thank you. I said I wasn't superstitious last week, didn't I? He touched wood, by the way. Yeah, so, morning magpie. The old magpies. Anyway, yeah, I've answered that question, I think.
And you say about Vale, it's the same situation as you faced at Chesterfield with a former player going back in as a new manager. Can you draw anything from that experience at the Pride?
Well, over the years I've come up against a few clubs that, you know, it's their new manager. It's normally always the first one. Now, we're not going to be his first one, we're going to be his second one. Although he's had a chance now to have a look at all his squad. I think he had a reserve game in midweek, and he's now seen all his pros. And as the games go on, you start seeing the new manager's philosophy, if you like, i.e. the shape, etc., etc., and who he thinks should be in the team. So it's just one game into it, but normally they win their first game. So I'm hoping he loses second game. But they're a good team. You know, they've come out of the first division. They've still got players that they had in the first division. I know they got relegated, but you know, they've retained a lot of their players, and they've got some big names that have had really good careers, big careers. So you know, we mustn't go there thinking it's just because they're bottom of the table. And I'll make sure that our lads don't. You know, I'm not sort of using it as an excuse right now, because obviously we're going well at the moment. But I just don't want my lads to feel it's just a matter of turning up, because we have to respect them, because they were the first division side last year, as were Chesterfield.
So why hasn't it happened for them, do you think, from what you've seen?
Well, just from what I've seen, you can have a bad start and things not go well for you, and the manager, you know, makes a couple of changes, and then a couple of players moved on. A couple of players might be getting a bit older, you know, that sort of thing. Young players coming in that haven't quite reached their full potential yet. You know, all those scenarios come into play. But I'm not sure they'll be down there at the end of the season, to be honest. I think the new manager coming in has done well at his other clubs. The supporters know him well through him playing there. So I think he's probably raised the atmosphere of the place, which can only help them. So who knows what the real reason is? But it's still, every league's a tough league to get runs of results, and they haven't been able to do that yet.
going to say, you'll have been up to Vale before. The fans there get very involved in the game, either positive or negative, possibly more so than quite a few other clubs at this level.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, and you're right. But I don't think they're any different to most other clubs. But I know what you mean. They can get on their teams back if early on it's not quite going well, or they're behind and not quite performing. But they can also, you know, be a very good crowd when the team's 1 up or 2 up with 10, 15 minutes to go or whatever it is. You know, I mean, the last game I watched their game, and they were losing to Grimsby 2-1. But they had an unbelievable last 15 minutes or so where they put Grimsby under tremendous pressure, and that's what the crowd sort of rise to, and they nearly got the game back, but didn't quite.